Las Vegas home prices are cracking, and the data proves it. Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps, a place built on risk, where people gamble fortunes every night under the neon lights of the Strip, but while tourists gamble on blackjack tables, homeowners here are gambling with something far bigger, the roof over their heads. For years, Vegas real estate was unstoppable. Prices doubled in less than a decade. Investors poured in, and homes were selling faster than casino chips on a Saturday night. But now, the dice have turned cold. Inventory is up nearly 80% in just 1 year. Sales are plunging. Homes that used to spark bidding wars are sitting untouched for months. And desperate sellers are slashing prices $20,000, $50,000, even $100,000 just to get a single offer. And here's the question no one can ignore. Is Las Vegas heading for another 2008-style housing crash? Or is this just a temporary correction? Stick with me, because in this video, we're going to uncover the headlines, the hard data, the human stories, and the future of America's most fragile housing market. This is the Real Estate Scout. And this is the truth behind the Las Vegas housing meltdown, the headlines. The latest numbers out of Las Vegas are impossible to ignore. Inventory has exploded up nearly 80% compared to last year. That means thousands of homes that would have been snapped up instantly during the boom are now just sitting. Sales volume has plunged. Agents across the valley are reporting a dramatic slowdown, homes that would have sparked a weekend. Bidding war in 2022 are now lucky to get a single showing in a month. Price cuts are everywhere. In Henderson, $550,000 home was just reduced to $499,000. In Summerlin, a $720,000 property has been cut not once, but 3 times, totaling over $80,000 in reductions. Even luxury listings on the Strip are feeling it, with million-dollar condos now slashed by 6 figures. And it's not just 1 or 2 neighborhoods, it's happening all across the valley. From North Las Vegas to Green Valley, sellers are realizing the frenzy is over. One Redfin report put it bluntly: price drops in Las Vegas are spreading faster than in almost any other U.S. city. But here's the most telling sign. Buyers aren't chasing. They're pulling back, waiting, watching. The psychology of the market has shifted. The headlines paint a clear picture. Vegas real estate is no longer a seller's paradise. The boom is slowing, and the cracks are starting to widen. What the data shows. If the headlines sound alarming, the actual data behind them is even more revealing. Because numbers don't lie. And in Las Vegas, the numbers are flashing red. Median home prices right now. The median home price in Las Vegas sits between $438,000 and $485,000. Compare that to just $230,000 back in 2015. In less than a decade, prices more than doubled. But here's the catch. Household incomes didn't double. The average Las Vegas household makes around $70,000 per year. And with mortgage rates where they are today, that income simply doesn't stretch. Affordability crisis? Let's put it in perspective. A family buying a $450,000 home today at a 7% mortgage rate is looking at a monthly payment of around $3,300, not including taxes or insurance. That's nearly 60% of a typical household's take-home pay. Experts consider anything above 30% unaffordable. Las Vegas is now at double that level. Inventory surge at the start of 2024. Vegas had around 5,000 homes on the market. Today, it's closer to 9,000 to 10,000. That's an 80% jump in inventory year-over-year. More homes chasing fewer buyers. A classic recipe for price drops. Days on market in 2021, homes sold in just 7 to 10 days. In 2025, the average listing sits 45 to 60 days, sometimes longer. And here's the kicker. Many of those sold. Homes only move after multiple price cuts. Sales volume closed. Sales are down nearly 40% compared to 2022 levels. The demand just isn't there. Buyers are hesitant, and many are waiting on the sidelines, hoping prices come down further. Historical context: If this feels familiar, it should. In 2006, just before the housing bubble burst, Las Vegas saw the exact same pattern: surging inventory, slowing sales, price cuts accelerating month after month. We all know what happened next. Prices collapsed by more than 60% during the crash. Now, no two markets are exactly the same, and lending standards today are tighter than they were back then. But when you line up the charts minus 2006 and 2025, look eerily similar. So what does this mean? The data is clear. Las Vegas housing is not just cooling, it's entering a new phase, one where buyers finally have the upper hand and sellers are forced to face reality. Asterisk, the real reasons. So the big question is this: why is Las Vegas real estate struggling so badly? Numbers tell part of the story, but the real reasons go deeper. It's not just about houses, it's about money, people, and confidence. Let's break it down. 1. Mortgage rates, the silent killer. It all starts with mortgage rates. In 2021, you could get a 30-year fixed loan at just 3% interest. That meant a $400,000 home came with a monthly payment of around $1,700, manageable for many families. Fast forward to today, the same loan is above 7%. That $1,700 payment is now $3,000 or more. It's nearly double. Think about it. Nothing about the home changed. Same for walls, same roof, same address, but the monthly cost has exploded. For many buyers, the dream of owning a home in Las Vegas just got pushed out of reach too. Investors are exiting them. Second force, reshaping this market as investors. In their sudden retreat during the boom years, Las Vegas became a playground for Wall Street firms snapping up single-family homes. Short-term rental operators turning houses into Airbnbs. Out-of-state buyers chasing quick flips. At one point, investors made up nearly 1 in 4 buyers in the Vegas market. But here's the twist. As profits shrink, they're leaving. Short-term rental regulations are tightening. Airbnb demand is cooling. Rent growth has latent. And investors, unlike families, don't stick around for the long haul. They're quick to sell, and when they sell, they add fuel to the inventory fire. 3 locals priced out then. And there are the people who actually live here. The median household income in Las Vegas is about $70,000 a year. But with home prices where they are today, locals simply can't afford to buy. Many families are stuck renting, even if they'd prefer to own. Some are even leaving the city altogether, moving to cheaper areas in Arizona, Utah, rural Nevada, a housing market that prices out its own residents. That's not sustainable for job market cooling. And finally, there's the job market. Las Vegas lives and dies by 2 industries: hospitality and construction. Hospitality fuels the Strip, casinos, hotels, restaurants. Construction fuels the housing market, new builds, renovations, development. But right now, both are cooling. Hospitality jobs have slowed as tourism plateaus. Construction projects are being delayed or canceled because financing costs are too high. When jobs cool, people get nervous. Nervous workers don't buy homes. They wait, they save. They sit on the sidelines. The perfect storm, so put it all together. Sky-high mortgage rates, investors running for the exits, locals locked out of the market, and jobs starting to weaken. That's not just one problem. That's a perfect storm. And for Las Vegas, a city that has always lived on the edge of booms and busts, that storm could reshape the housing market for years to come. Asterisk. Real stories. So far, we've talked about data, headlines, and big picture forces. But what does this actually look like on the ground? What are real families, sellers, and agents experiencing in Las Vegas right now? Let's dive into some real-world examples. Story 1. The price-cut home in the neighborhood of Summerlin. A family listed their 4-bedroom home in March for $585,000 first. They were confident. After all, homes in their area had been selling in just days during 2021 and 2022. But weeks went by. Then months, no offers. The home sat for over 100 days. Finally, they dropped the price to $535,000, still nothing. Only after dropping it again, this time to $515,000, they finally attract a buyer. That's a $70,000 loss from where they started. And here's the kicker. Just 2 years ago, that same house would have sold in a weekend, probably above asking. Price. Story 2. The first-time buyer's dilemma now. Let's look at the buyer's side. Take Emily and Daniel, a young couple who moved to Las Vegas for work. They make a combined income of about $90,000 a year. Not bad, right? They saved for years, hoping to buy their first home. But when they ran the numbers, reality hit. That starter home, priced around $400,000, now came with a monthly mortgage payment of nearly $3,200 at today's interest rates. That's half their take-home pay, Emily told us. We feel stuck. Renting feels like throwing money away, but buying feels impossible. We're part of a whole generation locked out of the market. Story 3. The investor exit, then there's the investor angle. Meet Jason, a California investor who bought 3 Vegas properties during the boom, rented them out as Airbnbs, pulling in thousands of dollars a month. But in the past year, bookings slowed. New short-term rental regulations squeezed profits. And suddenly, Jason was underwater. He decided to sell all 3 properties. But the market had shifted. Instead of bidding wars, he faced silence. In the end, he sold at a loss and walked away from Las Vegas altogether. Multiply Jason by thousands of investors, and you see why inventory is spiking. Story 4. The realtors. Reality finally. Let's hear from the people on the front lines. Real estate agents. One veteran Las Vegas realtor told us, "I've been through 2008. I've seen ups and downs. But right now, buyers are scared and sellers are in denial. Sellers think it's still 2021. Buyers know it's 2025. That gap is the hardest part. Homes that once sold in 5 days now sit for 5 months. Price cuts are the new normal, and agents. Many are struggling to survive in this frozen market. The human side of the crash, when you stitch all these stories together, you see the pattern. Families losing equity. First-time buyers pushed out. Investors abandoning ship. Agents struggling to close deals. This isn't just about charts or percentages. It's about real people feeling the pain of a housing market that once felt unstoppable and now feels broken. Asterisk, asterisk. What's next? So after all this, the headlines, the data, the real stories, the big question is, what happens next for Las Vegas real estate? Will we see a full-blown housing crash or just a painful correction? Expert forecasts, economists, and analysts are split. Some predict a 15 to 20% additional price decline over the next 12 months. Their reasoning? Inventory is surging, affordability is the worst in decades, and interest rates remain stuck above 7%. If demand doesn't return soon, prices have only one direction left to go: down. Others, however, argue that Las Vegas won't see another 2008-style collapse. Instead, they forecast a slow bleed. In this scenario, prices fall gradually, maybe another 5 to 10%, while homes take longer to sell. But the market doesn't completely collapse. Which outcome happens will depend on 3 key factors. Mortgage rates. If rates finally drop below 6%, demand could return quickly. If they stay high, the freeze continues. Job market. Vegas relies heavily on tourism, hospitality, and construction. If these industries weaken further, layoffs could push more people to sell homes they can't afford. Investors keep dumping properties that will flood the market with even more inventory, pushing prices down faster. Signs of a coming crash? Here's what the warning signs are saying. Inventory up nearly 80% year over year. That's a massive oversupply. Homes sitting 100+ days on the market. Price cuts everywhere, from starter homes to luxury estates. Affordability hitting a 20-year low. These aren't just little cracks. They're serious structural weaknesses. Buyer advice. So, if you're a buyer right now, what should you do? Here's the truth. Patience might be your biggest weapon. Waiting 6 to 12 months could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Don't let FOMO push you into buying at the wrong time. But if you find a home you love, can truly afford and plan, to live in for many years, then buying might still make sense. Just don't expect short-term gains. Seller advice in for sellers. You have two options: price realistically now and sell before conditions possibly worsen. Or hold off entirely and wait for a potential market rebound, though that could take years. The worst move? Listing at an inflated price and chasing the market down with endless cuts? That only guarantees frustration. Investor advice for investors. The golden era of easy money in Las Vegas real estate is over, at least for now. Airbnb regulations, high mortgage rates, and cooling demand mean the math doesn't work like it used to. The smart investors are shifting strategy, looking for distressed properties, buying with cash, or moving into different markets entirely. The bottom line. So, what's next for Las Vegas? The market is at a crossroads. Mortgage rates fall and the economy stabilizes. Vegas could recover with only a modest correction. But if rates stay high and jobs weaken, the city could be staring at its biggest housing downturn since 2008. Either way, one thing is clear: the easy money boom days are gone. The next chapter for Las Vegas housing will be about survival, adjustment, and reality checks. Asterisk, asterisk. So here's the big takeaway. Las Vegas. Housing isn't just cooling, it's cracking. Inventory is piling up. Homes are sitting longer. Sellers are slashing prices. And the dream of affordable homeownership in Vegas, for many families, it's slipping further away. But here's the truth. The story isn't over yet. Whether Vegas faces a full-blown crash or just a painful correction will depend on what happens in the next 6 to 12 months. And that's where I want to hear from you. Are you seeing price cuts in your neighborhood? Do you know someone struggling to sell their home? Or maybe you're waiting on the sidelines, hoping prices drop before you buy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective is what makes this channel different. And if you found value in today's breakdown, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the video reach more people who need to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe to stay ahead of the market, because tomorrow, we're diving into Dallas, another housing market flashing major warning signs. You don't want to miss it. This has been the Real Estate Scouts, where we cut through the noise, bring you the facts, and help you navigate America's housing roller coaster. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Asterisk.